Today's episode is brought to you by Bark Technologies. With parental control monitoring apps in the new Bark phone, Bark is the best comprehensive parental control tool for families. Listen to today's episode for more details. Hey everybody, welcome to Don't Make Me Come Back There. We are a funny podcast about family. My name is Dustin Nickerson. I'm a stand-up comedian, the host, and we're getting laughs already in the host of the aforementioned podcast. And alongside me in our state-of-the-art recording studio above Public Square Coffee in downtown La Mesa. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. To us is my lovely wife, Melissa Nickerson, and across from Melissa is hilarious comedian as seen on The Tonight Show, Showtime special. Everybody, Pete Lee is here. Pete Lee.
Hey guys.
Okay. Did we drink?
It's bad luck to cheers and not drink.
I learned recently, do you know the origins of the cheers?
No.
Where it comes from? It was a sign of good faith that you would cheers, and the point was that some of yours would spill into the other person's to prove that they weren't poisoned.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they say, I'm showing that I didn't poison your drink.
There's no poison.
Which seems a pretty risky way to prove that.
So I'm a big cheers person. I cheers coffees, I cheers drinks, I drink a lot, and I cheers all the time. Like, I'll cheers multiple times. Like, if we're doing
on the same round of drinks.
Well, yeah, like we'll be in the middle. I'll be like, "Well, cheers, guys!" And so, and people are always pretty suspicious of me because I'm so friendly.
Yeah.
So the fact that I'm always trying to do the poison test that actually goes in line with my personality.
It is one of those things. It's like the same thing when you have the handshake, right? It was to prove that you weren't armed. Like, when you look at, like, our basic friendly things, you're like, I'm not trying to kill you.
That's so funny.
All of it's rooted in, don't worry, I'm not here to murder you.
That's
all
funny.
Right.
You're witnessing a very funny thing right here. This is a thing we've been talking about in our relationship, and I've been talking about on stage, is when you've been in a relationship so long, it is so rare that you can present a new thing that you didn't know that I knew.
And then I'm immediately skeptical. I'm
like,
when did you learn that?
Like, I'm trying to show off. Yeah. You did one today. I told you I had another. This is my third one today. I told you that Hugo Boss designed the SS uniforms for the Nazis.
Wait, for real?
For real, yeah.
And we Googled it, and he was right.
I sound like such a history buff right now.
Ooh, this guy.
Did anyone in this room know any of those three things that I just told you?
No, I didn't, and I'm very impressed. Yeah. And I've also heard all your stories.
Listen. I'm from the Pacific Northwest because I will recycle a joke. Holy smokes. Over and over and over and over again.
That's crazy about the uniforms. That's nuts. I think
he was actually a part of the Nazi party too, which is crazy that we're like, I'll wear them.
He's still at Nordstrom.
Yeah. Well, this ties in. There are a few things. We're banging on all cylinders right away. This got talked about right after, and because I told you about this in passing and you wanted to hear more. I'm going to be on Corden next Thursday.
Yes.
We found out yesterday.
This is going to be so weird on the timeline because it's going to tape the 16th. Yeah, I don't think you even know that yet.
No, I just found out right now.
I didn't want to tell you.
I found out.
I tape the 16th. It airs the 30th. Today is, what is today?
Maybe
the 10th.
And when this releases, who knows?
April
this is a real...
10th?
This might be post-Corden.
Yeah.
PC. This might be post-Corden.
Post his show, it might be over.
How much longer... How much longer is he going to be doing his show? Because it seems like forever that he's been doing this victory lap. And you might be one of the last comedians that is on it.
We knew early that it was his last season, but... Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was honored to get invited back before the end.
Yeah.
I'm not like the like the finale episode, like, we want to have back our favorite comic ever, Dustin. It's like, the booker was like, no, we'll squeeze you in.
We'll get you in.
We'll get you in again. Yeah. So that's what I told myself when The Tonight Show said no and Corden said yes. I was like, well, I needed to do Corden again anyways before it went away. You tell yourself whatever you need to say. Mm-hmm. But we had a fight over the outfit, and I said that in passing to you.
I can't wait to hear what the fight was and what the outfit was.
Yeah.
Also, I don't... Like, I don't know. Like, I'm very new to both of you, so I have no loyalties here. I'm just going to say that.
That's good. Yeah, I'm going to need all the help I
true
can get.
neutral.
Yeah, I'm truly neutral.
Yeah.
So wait, how do you want to present, like, defendant, plaintiff? Do you want to do it that way? Where, like...
how about we present the story as you recall it?
Yeah.
And then as I experienced it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, why do I have to go first?
Oh, I can go first if you want. Okay. I'll summarize. So the short nose bikini outfit. Really, all we're looking for is actually a coat, because have the shirt I want to wear, have the pants I want to wear, have the shoes I want to wear, everything. Have the beanie I want. I'm not gonna wear a beanie.
Well, then...
a scarf. Everything is set. We're filming it outside in New York.
There's that one punchline where you throw the scarf over your shoulder, and you really it's just a huge point of emphasis.
Silk scarf, yeah.
It's very theatrical.
Yeah.
It's my whole act is. Everyone knows that. So, so we're looking for a coat, and
where do we go?
We go to a couple different. We're trying on a coat. As I experience it, this is how my recollection of it is. You find a thing that you like. I'm not crazy about it. You get the sense that I don't really like it. You get a little defensive, maybe take that a little personally, and then start critiquing other parts of my outfit that I'm wearing, which is like not even necessarily related to the jacket that we're wearing. And she's like, well, I don't like how your T-shirt, it bothers me the way it hangs over the belt buckle. It's a little crumped up there. And I was like, great, okay. What about this jacket that we're selecting? That's what we're here for, the jacket.
So you're saying that you're house hunting. You're going, I don't know about this house. She's like, I don't know about the town.
That's exactly right.
I don't like this area.
Yeah, no, I don't even feel. You're like, is the body the issue? Is that you don't like my shape? Is that? And then fast forward to about 5 minutes of uncomfortableness in that store. We're walking in Nordstrom. I'm calling her the B word.
Oh boy! So it's gone. It's nuclear.
It's full. Now I will say that particular word and how we use it. You will often describe yourself as that, and I'll often say I don't mind that you are that. Like it's not a fully weaponized word.
Yeah,
we bleep swear words on this. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Because kids listen. But,
Well, on my Instagram, this is a sidebar, but on my Instagram and TikTok, I always bleep them because I know we both know comics that will just say whatever they want to say, and then they get really great views. For some reason, if mine has swear words in it, or even an objectionable word, like they'll flag it.
Interesting.
They'll put it as sensitive content. So I bleep all of them.
Yeah.
And then in the comments, I get all these people like, "Oh, you're so square. You just bleeped the B word." And I'm like, I'm just trying to get the thing seen. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
I think you're similar in the vein of Mulaney in that you present cleaner than you are.
Yeah, that's very true. It's very true. And I actually try, like, at first my agent was marketing me as a clean comedian, and then they would put that in the bio, and then the least fun people in the world would come out to see my show. And so I just
I'm selling great in Salt Lake.
Yeah, I'm doing great. I actually do well in Salt Lake. But no, but people always had complaints after the show. You know? Like
it wasn't clean enough.
It wasn't clean enough, and so I try to like tell the clubs like, no, just present me like, don't even put like a PG rating. Just be like, this is rated R or whatever.
Yeah,
and then they'll
adults.
be surprised.
NC-17. He gets nude up there. He's Bobby Lee in it. It's crazy.
Oh my god! It's even when he has pants on, you can see it.
Yeah.
Like, they're tight.
It's Pete's Lee. It's something else. You're gonna really enjoy their show, everybody.
But all right, so I did the sidebar. I wanted to steer it back in because I'm riveted by the drama of this story.
Right.
So you see the scene.
I see the scene. The B word's not necessarily World War. It's like almost affectionate between you two.
Yeah, and in that way, it was almost. I was presenting it as fact, like you're doing this. Like I wasn't. It wasn't the name calling of it. It was being like, hey, most of our fights, I would say, happen just like this. Mel says something that she doesn't realize is off-putting. I take it, I'm very sensitive to that. I feel rejected and I feel hurt. I point out that you said that, but in a mean way, and now we fight.
Yeah.
Like, I was mean, he was mean, now we're both mad.
Now we're mean together.
Now you're both mad.
Mad and mean.
And when you're mad... like, I want to know how you felt mad. Like, did you, like, you know how sometimes you can be like, that pissed me off, and you kind of feel strong in your anger, or sometimes like when it hurts, you're like, you feel brittle and mad. Which one did you feel in that moment?
Interesting. When we fight, I get hurt, and then I get annoyed that we're fighting because I'm like, I don't like this.
You just wanted to have a smooth day.
I just want to have fun. Yeah. I just want us to be a happy couple.
Isn't it fun to pick out an outfit for late night TV?
Yeah. We're doing a thing, and we're at the mall, and we live in San Diego, and this is our stupid job, and we're hanging out with Pete Lee later tonight. We're gonna eat tacos later. Everything is great. Why are we fighting? That's what I don't like.
Like if on your first date, you'd be like, someday we're going to be picking out an outfit for me to go on TV, and we're going to go shopping that day. You'd be like, wow, that sounds like we have a great future.
Yeah.
And then you didn't realize that it would.
That's reality. We got in a fight over my proposal.
Whoa.
Yeah. So.
Oh God.
Wait. No, I want to know about this. Was it after the fact?
That's good.
Yeah.
We're bringing out
even defended myself yet.
Yeah. Well, here the only defense you have to say on that it covers all multitude of sins on the engagement one. You were 20. I was 19. We were kids.
Yeah, we were babies.
And it wasn't, that one was, I didn't say what she had hoped I would say, or I didn't say enough. She expected more of a speech. I did a gesture, and I popped the question. That was it. I did like she was a big scrapbooker at the time, so I snuck a scrapbooking page in and did like put a bunch of wedding type stuff in it, and then said like, well, and it was like, oh, just bring and we were at Cary Park in Seattle. It was great. And then there was no speech. There was no, I love you so much. Will you spend the rest of my life? There was just like, on my knee, will you marry me? And you said yes, and then we fought.
No,
Did you spit on you?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I did.
He's calling you the B word. He's spitting on you. This is a rough guy.
That I'm not poisoning you.
This guy's rough. Are you okay? Well, blink hard if you're okay. No, so but all right. I want to get back to
this fight. Now you should tell your side of the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's historical. Because when you picked out what you wore to the special, we had this same argument about kind of a shirt that's like a little too long. And then like you either got to get a tighter pant or put a belt on.
Yep.
And then the belt adds a bump.
It does add a bump.
And I'm like, there's seamless belts, that like lie flat. Or we got to crop the shirt a little bit.
Yep.
Or, we can pin it behind the jacket, like.
I've pinned a lot of shirts behind the jacket.
Yeah.
I've done that a lot.
There's some options.
Yeah. I had forgotten we talked about that. And I'm just like, this is so unimportant. Who's looking at this?
Well, I tape all my stuff every single week. So I have that. I have that camera, and I've had weekends where I just wore a belt the whole weekend, and then it comes to editing on Sunday, and I'm like, what is that? That little bump, it looks like you have a tumor. And so I'm cropping it from. Yeah. And by the way, stuff looks good if you have a little bit of pants, or if you're on like a really tight shot. Yeah. But on Instagram, it needs to be a rectangle.
Right.
And so I'm like. So I'm cropping it from here up, and it just, I don't know. Is
that the fashion police? I'm sorry.
Yeah. That was a good one. That was a good one, Alert. That was a good one. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers. That wasn't even a real cop, actually. Andy put that in.
That's in post. But so, all right, so you're talking about the belt, and then
I think what happened, to your point, I'm realizing it, is... Because now she pointed it out, and once you do see that, there's no more unseeing it. And I realize that now. Like, you couldn't see past that little hump. I don't know what you call it.
Because Dustin wants to wear a graphic tee. Like,
I like that.
A poppy, kind of colorful graphic tee. And I was like, no, will you humor me and try this coat on? Because it's like kind of quilted. But I liked the texture. And it was like, I thought it looked good, like broad shoulder. You have broad shoulders, and it like accentuated that.
There's nothing on TV you want more than to look wider.
Yeah,
I get that, but he's like, you're not wide.
That's very nice of you.
I mean, like we bought you a size small coat. Like you're not wide.
Yeah.
But the point is, I was like, nope, I think it works. I like the texture. I've never seen something like that. It's a good color. We know what color the background is. And so he's thinking about the tea, and he brings up the tea, and then I brought this up. And then he got the way I said it.
No, I'm taking all this in.
Yeah,
I'm totally understanding all of it
because that wasn't what he wanted me to focus on.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time we got to Nordstrom, he's like, "Can you pull it together? We're, we got to get this done, and you're being a bitch." And
Bleep City. That's your first bleep.
Bleep City.
Yeah.
Bleep City. Yeah.
And I was like, I need space. I need time. Because I know, like, when I'm in that red zone, I'm like, I'm going to explode in this Nordstrom. And I'm like, I need to calm down. And then we were kind of just like, where's the men's department anyways? And,
right, yeah.
And
we had to compartmentalize and talk about anything else.
Set it aside.
Then we found the jacket
then we
shortly
found an
thereafter.
Amazing jacket.
And then 30 to 45 minutes later in the car, we hashed out what happened.
Well, because I was like, I hate conflict.
Yeah.
I mean, I will be terribly mean.
Yeah.
But
I will cause conflict, but I hate it.
But I hate addressing things. Is just sweep it under the rug,
Yeah.
But
I totally understand that.
I think,
And
Coming
then
from
I was
the Midwest,
like, oh, we got to talk about this because, like, I'm literally learning. Like, my daughters we have 2 teenagers and a daughter with, like, some stuff like anxiety in kids looks like mean often. It looks super mean. So we have all these kids and teens that are disrespectful and mean to us, and then
right now I feel like you guys brought me here because you needed to tell an adult.
Yeah, I know.
These kids were being mean to me.
Thanks for being here, Pete.
These kids are being really
check
mean
out
to me.
Pete's tour dates, everybody.
So I'm trying to learn how to help them, and I'm like, oh no, I gotta learn to help myself to not be so mean. And so that's why we just hashed it out a little bit.
We did, and you told me in the future this was very beneficial. What you said is, when I'm being that way, here are some alternative of things that you could say, like, that hurt me, not you're being a
Yeah, and it was really adult of you to not go, you're being a little
yeah.
you're being a little about that belt buckle.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, this all sounds pretty healthy because you're never going to go through a marriage not getting upset about things,
right?
And there's going to be conflict. But it sounds like you got heated in the moment, but then you took a breath.
Yeah.
You talked about it in the car.
Yeah.
You're talking about it now.
Talking about it now.
You're still together.
Total conflict, 8 minutes. Start to finish, and then to resolve, because there really is something to that. Just like, just
kind of play
don't
back
deal
the
with it
tape
right
a
now,
little bit.
but don't sweep it on. So you were, I mean, it's very Wisconsin, Midwestern of you, just to never. Have you taken that into your relationship and stuff of just like never deal with the issue?
Well, I've been through like 15 years of therapy, so I'm starting to get better with it. But it's funny that you have the timer on the thing. A lot of times, what I've learned from going through therapy is, if I'm redlining, if I'm in that moment, I do almost exactly what you guys did. I will literally be like, I need to step away for a second and just formulate how I feel.
Right.
Because in the moment, once you start seeing red and feeling hot, you're just going to say the worst stuff because you're uncomfortable,
right?
And you're almost mad at this other person because you're uncomfortable, and it feels like it's their fault. But if you really boil it all down and kind of do a quick therapy session with yourself, you're like, all right, well, I didn't like this because I didn't feel listened to, and that's how I felt as a kid, because my dad didn't listen or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can my old therapist used to say that those crazy murder walls, like the FBI murder walls.
Oh,
with
yeah.
the yarn.
Where they have the yarn.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you just need to get really quick at seeing where the yarn ties to in your childhood, and there's an asterisk there because everybody always wants to boil everything down to their childhood.
And blame their parents.
And blame their parents. Some stuff just pisses you off right now, the yarn just stays put.
Yeah.
And there's just like if somebody walks up to you and hits you in the face and you feel angry, you're not mad at your parents because you got hit in the face. You're mad because you got hit.
That hurt.
But I don't know. But then usually with my fiance, like she's so good about if we're ever in a disagreement and I'm like, I just need a second to think about that. She'll be like, okay. But on the other end, the only thing that's frustrating to me about her is that she is so good at instantly formulating her thoughts and her feelings in the most adult way possible and telling it to me. It's like lightning fast, like Google did it.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
And
that's impressive.
and she never boils over even when I can see that she might be, and I'm just not as good at that thing as her. So that's like one of the only frustrating things, but it's good that you guys are on the same page with that and you know how to fight with one another.
It's hard to kind of change it though, because we have like the old grooves in the mattress or whatever. You're like, we know how to do this.
Right.
We always mess up. We always you go this way, I go that way, and we blame each other. And
I would say, so
it's hard to change your patterns.
We've been together. I said this to you today. We've been together so long that we don't care if we're fighting in public either.
You're like, we will make this uncomfortable.
Hi, Nordstrom security guards. We're dealing with some stuff.
Yeah. I know this might be uncomfortable for you, but we're fine.
Oh, that's funny.
We got to work this out. What are you? But what about fighting in public with you and your fiance?
Honestly, I don't think that her and I have ever fought in public, which I would say that this is the least dramatic relationship that I've ever had.
She seems pretty calm, cool, and collected.
She's better than me. Like she's just.
Is she an artist?
No.
That's probably why.
She
to some extent.
Yeah, she works in tech. She is a very she is an emotional person, and she's emotional. She's very feminine, all these things, but she's also very good at being logical, and she's also she's way smarter than me, and I think that's why she gets to things faster. Yeah. Her synapses work faster than me.
Yeah.
And it almost feels relaxing to me because if I can feel a disagreement starting, I almost just take a breath and go, well, she's got this. She's gonna figure out what the root of it is. And you know how in most relationships you kind of go tit for tat, and her opinion, your opinion, blah blah blah. Generally speaking, I kind of trust that Nicole, whatever she says, I'm like, if I could spend an hour breaking it down and she's going to be right and she's going to be pretty fair. I really haven't encountered a time where she hasn't been fair. So it makes it pretty easy on me as somebody that hates conflict. And I hate to say it, it's not even like I'm just rolling over. It's that she's so much smarter than me, and she's not a liar, and she's not a manipulator. That usually when she has a point, I'm like, oh. I'm like, yeah, you kind of have a point there.
We have some listeners who don't fight.
There's some non-fighters out there.
And that you're still married, in that relationship, your personality style is just absolutely
There's
the
good and
opposite.
bad non-fighters, though.
Yeah.
There's good non-fighters that are like, we just don't have conflict. And then there's Wisconsin non-fighters that no, you need to fight. Yeah. You keep drinking this away and then going to bed.
You need to fight. Yeah, I would say that her and I talk about everything that we need to talk about, and I don't think that there's anything between us that's unsettled, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And I also, there's a lot of trust between us because I know that if I come to her with a conflict, it's not going to just blow up,
Right.
I've been...
That's a nice feeling.
I've been in those situations.
Wouldn't know. Wouldn't know.
I'll give you an...
So text the...
You're both going to be looking for somebody in tech. You're both going to be on Bumble being like, turn-ons, tech.
Yeah. DeVry, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Economics.
That's hilarious. Something's very calculated, please.
She's so funny. We were in Aspen 2 weeks ago, and we were with Ivan Decker and Ryan Hamilton in the green room.
Nice.
And
clean guys. You even hang out with the clean guys.
I hang out with the clean guys. Yeah, I hang out with the clean guys. And Nicole's really funny. Like she makes me laugh so hard on a daily basis, and she also can like roast. Like if we're just sitting there with other comics, like she'll start going after them.
That's impressive.
And she's very kind, but she like she can roast.
Yeah.
And
Mel wants to be friends with her so bad. Mel is falling in love with your fiance right now.
You two will be friends. You'll be friends with Nicole. Ivan was saying something about like how a host, goes like, "Hey, keep it going for so and so or whatever."
Yeah.
And Nicole goes, "Not a fan of keeping it going." She's like, as an audience member, she goes, "I can't stand keeping it going." She's like, "I don't want to clap." And then she turns to me, and I'm just like, because she knows I love to keep it going.
Yeah.
Like I love to clap. I love to be in a group of people.
Yeah.
And I love it whenever somebody goes like, make a noise as a group. It's kindergarten for me. I'm like, yay.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we are different in those ways. Like there are times where I feel like somebody put Larry David's personality in like an Arizona hot girl, 'cause she's like, not a fan of keeping it going.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Not for me.
no, not for me. But a
amazing.
few days ago, Ivan Decker messaged me, and he was like, I just can't stop laughing at not a fan of keeping it going.
Yeah, that is so good.
That's
Yeah.
a very bold thing to say in a green room.
2-3 comics.
Yeah.
Well, they're not hosts anymore. So
Yeah.
They're not hosts
you guys are
anymore.
all out of your host
That's
stage,
true. That's true.
I've told them to keep it going. I've kept it going
Yeah.
many times from the host position.
You
Those
got
are
it.
I'm
the
happy
years.
to keep it going.
I actually
gotta
had
keep
a
it
guy
going.
I used to run a show at an art gallery up in Vista, and the middle comic got heckled really bad, and just he lost. He lost to the
God.
heckler.
No.
It
Oh,
was
God.
it
no.
got under his skin. He tried to recover. He didn't get there. I was kind of like half in there. You know when you're like a little outside the room, but you can tell something's happening in the showroom that's not like, oh, the rhythm, it's like the record's off. And I go in, and he was going like, no, what you said is just like really disrespectful, and I would never do something
like a
to you like
lecture.
this, and you ruined this for me and for all the, and I'm like, oh no, he lost. You can't.
He totally lost.
You can't go to lecture mode. You have to at least keep trying to be
Light,
funny.
And
then he goes,
Yeah, our job is to find the fun.
yeah. And then he goes, well, I don't know where to go from here. Sorry, Dustin. And
I can feel my shoulders going up right now. I'm like,
there's only like
"Oh."
30 people in the room. It's a small little art gallery, and he puts the mic in, and I walk to stage, and I go, keep it going for everybody, because I didn't know what else to say. And then I was like, okay, as a reminder,
like-
no heckling, everybody. Don't do it. I think I said something. I was like, hey, what just happened? Let's not do that again, everyone. Be respectful. And then Zoltan was headlining, thank God. And Zoltan just came up, did like murdered for like 5 on like material, and then laid into her. I was like, he owned the heckler as the next comic.
Oh,
yeah.
that's fantastic.
Yeah, so it was, in that time, all I had was keep it going. What do you say?
Keep it going for awkward silences, everybody. Keep it, yeah.
Keep it going for making the show
lectures.
about
Yeah.
you. How about that?
Yeah. Johnny Carson used to call when he was bombing, and then he saved it. He called it laughter ears, because he'd be really bombing with the material, but his ears would be tricked into think that he's doing well, because he'd be making fun of how bad he's bombing, and then he'd get laughter. But like, at least then he could have rebounded by going like, man, was that awkward. I made it so awkward. I guess that's a bleep.
It's
But-
fine, yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
And he's earning his money tonight.
yeah, he's earning his money. But yeah, you could at least make fun of how tense it was.
Right, right.
Oh, I really did not handle that situation whatsoever.
Yeah.
If we were in the military, my whole battalion would be gone. If I was the head of this, just make some sort of joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's weird when it gets really serious.
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
comedy room.
It's the surrender flag. It's absolutely
white flag,
done
yeah.
there. So you got engaged in December. How long have you guys been dating?
We've been, when we got engaged, we were together for a year and a half.
Okay.
And
Nice.
if I'm being honest, I wanted
Pandemic.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got together. Well, asterisk, I met her in Arizona.
He didn't believe in the virus. so
Yeah, I didn't believe it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually
It was
Plandemic, am I right?
Yeah, plandemic. I'm a big lab leak guy. Fauci should be in prison.
Yeah,
Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona. Yeah,
Pete's doing Rogan right after
Yeah.
this, actually. Exactly.
Could you? I don't know what's true or what's not with that, but could you imagine if you were just carrying around that much anger from the news every day?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Like, my friend Ryan that I introduced you guys to, he was like, man, did you hear about those banks in Silicon Valley? And I was like, no, I didn't hear about any. I don't hear. My phone has stopped even giving me Apple News because it knows that I just don't want to hear it. Because
your phone gave up on you.
Yeah, you're going along in your day, and Apple News is like, do you want to hear about the worst thing ever? Yeah. No, yeah. I'm at a car. I'm having fun. I don't.
Apple News never sends you.
Yeah.
Apple News never sends you like, hey, there was a new school built today.
Yeah.
A bunch of money was donated.
Yeah. There's no good news.
You know, Flint, their water's great. Like, it's never...
It's fixed.
The Flint water's clean now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I didn't know about that.
I gave up on news, I think it was like 8 months ago. I just stopped.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, I will have to deal with the embarrassment of not knowing something huge.
Right.
But that's not as bad as every single day hearing 5 things that are the worst thing that you've ever heard.
Yeah, they're like, all the teenage girls in America are depressed.
Yeah.
They know too much.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to know all these things.
Yeah.
We're supposed to just have like your life's problems. Just your circle, your family's problems, your problems.
Your neighbor's problems.
Maybe your city's problems.
Yeah.
At most, your country's problems.
Yes.
I can't be into every country's, that's too many problems.
It's too many problems, and I don't even want to say it, but like it started with like every day there'd be another shooting that we'd have to care about, and I cared. Like, it's so sad. It's like, and I'm a good person, but to feel like a good person, you'd have to go, that's really bad. And you have to
post about this.
I got to post about it. I got to whatever. And then people would be like, you're a comedian. Are you joking about it?
Yeah,
and I'm
what
like,
are you going to say about it?
So I just stopped following it.
Yeah.
And I feel bad that I've missed so many tragedies, but I don't know. I literally don't know. I'm like...
a funny statement.
Melissa, I am always worried about internet safety.
Yeah. Especially with our kids.
Especially for you. I'm worried about what you are looking at, which is why I want to get Bark put on your phone.
Oh, boy.
Your phone, your laptop, your pager. I need to get Bark on your pager.
Yeah.
On your Bluetooth.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the little one in your ear.
Apple CarPlay.
As many of you guys know, we are parents. As many of you know. You all know we are parents.
Guys, we're parents.
We're parents. And internet safety is, I don't know if there's a thing that parents think about more anymore.
It's so important and so hard to keep track of.
Yeah. And thankfully, insert Bark Technologies. And then a hero comes along with Bark Technologies to monitor your kid's phone. And there's a new Bark phone, too. I didn't hit that. I missed that one, but before that, I was crushing that. That was pretty good.
That was good. Mm-hmm.
Bark Technologies is a friend of the pod, and we love them so much. There's a couple services that we've used with them over the year. The phone, the monitoring of your kid's phone, where they send you alerts and what they're looking at, and they have different levels and things, whatever it may be. It's fantastic. You're not spying on your kid. There's just certain things where Bark goes, hey, you might want to see this, and they show it to you.
Check out this tag.
And even better, simplify your life, ladies and gentlemen. Bark has a new phone.
That's right. And it doesn't look like a kid's phone.
No,
it's black.
no.
It's sleek. Yeah. Phones and technology is improving, and this phone grows with your kid.
Oh.
So maybe your kiddo is, kind of inching into like an Instagram account. Or wants to be a YouTuber. Yeah. And you want to give him some training wheels to get there.
We recently let our kid get on Instagram, and it was because of Bark.
That's right.
We let our kid, because we're less concerned, and because he's 15 and we're done parenting. But so tell him, but we also, we don't choose any sponsor for the pod. We like sponsors that make sense and we use in our lives, and Bark is one of them. And the new Bark phone is something that we're really excited about, as well as Bark Technology is what we use constantly. And we have some promo codes and we have some details. Hit them, Melissa. Give them those sweet, sweet details.
All right. So you can manage screen time. You can block websites and apps. You can monitor text, email, YouTube, and 30 apps and platforms.
Andy's excited.
You can get child psychologist advice and tips, even ways to approach kids when they mess up.
So how do they sign up? And how do they save some money, Melissa?
Let me tell you. If you click on the link in the show notes and enter Don't Make Me, all one word, don't make me, you are going to get 7 days of a free trial for the Bark Premium subscription.
And
as well as 15%
off for the lifetime of your subscription, baby.
That's right.
Boom. And if you're listening to this episode in February, which I think you are, we also have a deal on the new Bark phone.
$200 off the new Bark phone.
Boom. Do it, everybody.
Now.
Bark Technologies.
Keeping your kids safe online.
There is like a beautifulness to like I remember in the midst of really the height of all the craziness news where you felt like you couldn't talk you couldn't talk about anything else. I would go to Bert Kreischer's Twitter. And he'd be like, "What's the best kind of barbecue sauce?" And I'm like, "Oh, he's so free. He's so free.
He's so free."
And there's something to that. If there's like the mindset of you're like, "This is who I am, and this is how I'm going to interact with at least the public," you know?
Yeah, that's kind of that's where I'm trying to get to. I'm actually opening for him on his tour for a few tour dates in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's awesome.
I keep joking around that I'm going to job shadow him. Like, like
a college kid.
Yeah. I'm going to be a college kid for a few weeks as a guy in my 40s, and that's what I'm going to do. But I don't know. I'm like, what I'm trying to do is I don't want to have to subscribe to anger. You know, like there's so many things in our society where people are like, I'm angry, and if you're not angry, you're a bad person. I'm like, I'm going through therapy. I'm on Zoloft. I'm trying everything that I can to not be angry. Why would I like get into this luge groove of anger that everybody's in? So I'm trying not to do that. And I'm also just trying to just like be a goose and joke around about stuff that, you know, like, I don't know. I posted a clip today about like a vegan thing or whatever. And I'm not like one of those guys that's like, vegans suck. Like I love vegans and whatever. But the clip was about how like I'm vegan, but I eat meat. But like it's like there's so many times I don't eat meat. And so I'm a vegan, and my friends are like, no, there's no way that you're a vegan. And I'm like, but I'm a golfer, and I'm not currently golfing. So like, like if I can,
that's a good joke.
And so I'm just being a goose, and I think that we need to get back to
that's just being a goose.
I'm just being a goose, and I think we need to get back to being able to be gooses as comics, where you acknowledge.
I believe it's goosen.
Goosen, a goose. We can be goosen. Yeah.
According to Brian Regan.
The goosen. If you're saying it right.
That's pretty good.
I love him so much.
Yeah. We met him for the first time last week.
What?
I went to a show.
Was he here?
He was not in this, not here, not in this room.
Just in San Diego one night last Thursday.
Yeah. And then we went to a show and we hung out, and then we went and hung out at the La Jolla Comedy Store where Pete was months ago when you're hearing this podcast.
Where I was months ago.
He's like a Meet Your Heroes guy. He's wonderful. Have you met him?
I got to do the Nantucket Comedy Festival with him, and then his plane, like Nantucket's this place where weather comes through, and then you just can't get out for like 6 days. So he's like, I'm here for 12 hours. I'm talking like regular Brian Regan, because I'm off stage. He's not like, I'm taking a plane.
Right.
But he got stuck. He got stuck there, and then all these other people got stuck there, and so for days it was me and Brian Regan and Jeff Foxworthy and the Farrelly brothers, and we were going, and all these rich people would just invite us to their houses, and they would be like, "Well, we have a chef. What do you want to eat?" And so I got to really spend a lot of time with him, and I just love that guy.
Yeah.
Also. Big drinker. I don't know if he still is, but at the time he was, and I loved it. The first night I ever met him, we just drank we drank all the whiskey.
All of it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I was like, this guy is so fun.
Yeah.
Like, meet your heroes.
Yeah, truly.
Foxworthy he's one of them.
Yeah,
that
Foxworthy's
you're like,
the kindest, sweetest dude, too.
He's so great.
Yeah. Like he gave me a tag for a thing. You're like, this is amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then every time I told that joke, I'm like, Jeff Foxworthy gave me that in my mind.
You just tell the crowd, you know.
Yeah, I should be like, hey, Jeff Foxworthy wrote that last joke.
You might be a tag.
That was it. Yeah.
Can I give you one? This is. I want you to get your story. I don't know if I've told you this. The Wisconsin drinking thing. 7 of the top 10 drunkest cities in America are in Wisconsin. Like it's not like, oh, Wisconsin, we drink. It's crazy how much Wisconsin, but they're so friendly.
I haven't been there,
Such
but I do know
friendly
Sean,
drunks.
our friend from Wisconsin. He's very nice.
They're so friendly and so drunk, and it's just a way of life. And
Yeah.
I have friends that are sober, and I love that you're sober. I actually was sober for 4 years of my life. I just I was like, I got to take a break from drinking. And then I started drinking again, and I was like, life is way better. I have way more fun in life. I feel better. I'm probably a little more chubby than I should be, but I just got a physical. My liver scores are great. I hit a high score in liver.
Wow.
But yeah, so I don't know. I love drinking. Wisconsin's absolutely phenomenal. I was going to say something in there, and I forgot what it was.
talking about
I'm sorry.
Brian Regan.
I'm a bad
Oh,
host.
Foxworthy.
Foxworthy.
When I first got together with Nicole, my phone. We were driving from Kansas City to Springfield, Missouri, and then my phone rang, and it was Jeff Foxworthy, and we were in the middle of a conversation, and I didn't pick it up. I was like, I'll call him back, and I think she thought that I was like a skeezy guy that stored a girl's number as Jeff Foxworthy or something like that.
Jeff Foxworthy.
Oh, that's what you call your girls you meet on the road, huh? Jeff Foxworthy.
Yeah, because I've heard of that before, where a guy will store a number, it's really Katie, but he stores it as a guy's or whatever. And so she started busting my balls about that, and I was like, no, it's Jeff Foxworthy.
Call him back.
He's my friend, and so we. So we called him back and we talked to him on the phone, and it was like a great conversation. But yeah, I guess I just wanted you to know that I talked to Jeff Foxworthy.
That was a very
He called
elaborate
you.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, so you're how old? You say
I'm 45.
you're 45. How old's your fiance?
She's 33, so
Okay.
there's an age gap.
Yeah. I didn't mean to bring it up like that.
No.
I'm always curious. Family's response to your news getting engaged.
Oh, my family was over the moon. Her parents were there.
Okay.
And
Nice.
so they were. I similarly did not give a speech about what she meant to me. Even thinking about giving that speech, I don't know if you saw my emotions tighten up, because I thought about, I kept thinking about the words that I would want to say if I gave that speech of here's what you mean to me, and I'm like, I'm gonna cry like an idiot in front of her parents, and I proposed on Christmas. I'm like, I'm going to ruin Christmas.
It's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure.
It already is, but then it's a holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest holiday of the year, really.
It's the biggest holiday of the
Yeah.
year, and then Pete would be crying. And then I also know that once the dam breaks, I'll probably cry later that day.
Right.
So I was like, I did not give the speech, but it was literally because I didn't want to cry. And she did bring it up one time. She's like, yeah, because a friend was telling us about how they gave a speech, and she's like, yeah, I guess you didn't do that. And I did a scavenger hunt, or it was a scavenger hunt with riddles, and because she loves riddles, and she thought that she was searching for a gift that her mom got her, and so she had no idea. And then I just had the ring in my pocket. And this is what it was. We were watching Christmas movies. We watched a Christmas movie every single day. And in every single movie, when they proposed, they got the big ring box. And she's she's like, you didn't have a speech and you didn't have a box. You didn't even have a box. I just pulled it out of my pocket.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, well, number one, I didn't want to cry. And number two, I needed to hide the ring from you. So I just had it in my back pocket.
Yeah.
And at the very end, I had her close her eyes. And then when she opened, I was there. And so she's like, you were here.
Put this on. Yeah.
But the one argument, and this isn't really an argument between us, but we've talked about it amongst our friend group, because recently a bunch of the couples have gotten engaged, and none of the women have said yes to the proposal. So the guy has to go, well, what's the answer? And so with Nicole, I handed her the ring, and she took it, and she did put it on slowly. It wasn't like Gollum or anything like that, but she
I got it.
she put it on, and she was like shaking and looking around the room at her parents, what is this? And then And then she hugged me, and then I pulled away, and I was like, I need an answer. Because for months leading up to this, I was like, what if she says no? And just there was a part of me that was like, I need an answer. And every guy in our friend group said the same thing, where like she's like running around the room like, oh my God, but yes, like there's one word. There's one word that you have to say.
Yeah.
So did you say yes in the proposal?
I did.
You did? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful.
And then what'd you say?
Oh,
no, just kidding. No, you were crying. It was a nice moment.
Yeah.
That's like, it was an expectations thing of like, this is how I expected it would go.
Yeah.
So much of
that's
strife in life is that in general, just like, oh, this didn't go. This didn't feel the way I thought it would feel.
Yeah.
Because you never proposed before, and you
No.
never gotten proposed to, so how would you even know?
That's a good point.
And how did you know you even had expectations until
they didn't go the way you thought they were going to.
You're
How do you know you...
You're so lucky he's not good at proposing. He's like, yeah, you shoot 10 shots, you hit one of them.
Do you feel?
Right?
Do you feel do you feel like the dynamic in the relationship has changed at all now that you're engaged versus dating?
I feel like I feel like she feels better in a way, like because I don't think that guys realize how crappy it is for women when like everything that they go to where there's a bunch of women there's somebody that's going to start asking the question like, so do you think you're going to get engaged, or like what do you think?
Yeah.
And then she has to be cool and be like, well, I don't know, I think we're really in love, and it's not that the people in her life are bad or anything like that. It just comes up and it comes up and it comes up. And at first it's like you're just dating. Hey, do you think this is going to be a guy you're going to marry? I think so. I don't know. It seems pretty good. And then the 100th time that you hear that, like, so do you think you're going to be engaged? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened. And she actually thought that I was going to propose the Christmas before that, because we were so in love from the get-go.
Oh.
But I'm a comedian and I'm coming out of the pandemic, as you guys know.
Yeah.
And I told her flat out, I'm like, I would love to marry you like now, but I'm digging out of a financial hole, and this isn't very romantic, but I want you to know that like I have plans to marry you and I'm saving for it. So like I was saving for like almost that whole year. But by the time we got to this Christmas, she told me that she had like given up hope. Like this was after I proposed. She's like, I had given up hope. She's like, I just thought you didn't have the money. Our relationship's great, but it's just not going to happen. And so that's why she was so surprised when it did happen.
That you pulled it off.
I pulled it off. And also, like she's a very honest person. So I'm sure that when her friends had asked, or, her friends' parents had asked or whatever, she's like, yeah, Pete doesn't have the money. And then I'm sure that there were follow-up questions. What do you mean he doesn't have the money? Like, is he not doing well?
Then why would you marry this guy?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, is he not?
That is an interesting thing about a pandemic relationship, and then like being comics and the lack of work, and you're like, hey, like this has been great, like for us.
Yeah.
Also, I don't have a lot going on right now.
Right.
Yeah, like I have potential, basically.
Which is what you love to hear from someone in their 40s.
Yeah,
You'd love to hear.
Well, I had a nest egg pre-pandemic that was like I could have bought a house in the Midwest with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then throughout the pandemic, it just
Which is great.
Yeah, it just whittled down
It
to.
went down, and then Midwest house prices kept going up.
It kept going up.
And it's how much to live in Des Moines now?
Yeah, you're like, geez. And then I think I wound up after the pandemic with like negative $50,000. And so like I had this much, and then I had below sea level.
Right.
And then I met this amazing woman, and I'm like, I can't believe how lucky I am to have met her. And then I have no capabilities to marry her. And then I was I was literally like every single like club week, I'd set aside a certain amount of money. Like I was setting aside like $100 if I could, or like $1,000 or whatever. And then all of a sudden my internet stuff started taking off. I started selling out weeks. I sold out like 4 weeks in a row. And then my business managers called me, and they're like, dude, you can buy whatever ring you want. Like, cause you've made way past your, like what you thought that you'd make. I'm like, what? I'm like, you're kidding me. And so, I went ring shopping. We got this private jeweler that my business managers go through. And I when I got the ring, so this is how I knew that I couldn't give a speech. When I saw the ring, I cried.
Oh.
I was like, I can't get it. I've been wanting this forever for us. But it is.
So it meant so much.
Yeah.
It meant so much to me. And it also was really hard to not snap at moments on the way to that, because I'd be at a party and maybe I'm projecting what I felt onto her in terms of the questions, because I would be at a party and one of her friends would ask me, or somebody in her
on her,
right.
And you.
They were on me. They'd be like, so when are you going to propose? And I'd be like, it's. I'd always say, I'd be like, I'm working on it. I'm a good guy. I swear. I have great intentions. And her parents never put any pressure on me. They've been wonderful. And I remember when I called them to ask, it was funny because we were talking about planning her birthday, and then I was like, by the way, I want to ask for your daughter's hand in marriage. And her parents, they just were silent. And I was like, well, I of course you just keep talking, right?
Right.
Because I think I'd be a great husband. I love her so much, and I wanted to marry her from the get-go, and blah blah blah. And then nothing, just silence. And I'm like, it would be a really bad time for the call to drop. And I'm like, are you guys still there? And they're like, yeah, Pete, we're here, but we just we didn't think you had the money, and we just didn't expect this right now.
We did not see this coming.
Yeah, they're like, we did not see this coming.
Yeah.
They're like, we know how much you love our daughter, and I'm like, and I go, or I guess this was the first time I go, well, what's the answer?
Yeah.
And,
Is it family?
You were like Aladdin to them.
I was. It was funny because her mom was like, the answer is absolutely yes. We're so happy for you two. And then her dad, her dad is, he's a business guy and a finance guy, and he's run companies before and stuff. And so he definitely had an interview question for me.
Yes.
He's like, I just need to know, are you going to be able to provide for my daughter financially and emotionally? And, what's your plan?
Wow.
And I actually loved that. I loved that he gave me a hurdle to go through.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a yes. And I was like, I don't know how, but I just had the answer right away. And I was like, well, my tour numbers are going up, and I'm a saver, and I know that it didn't seem like it when we first got together, and blah, 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 and you guys have come to my shows, and you'll see. And then emotionally, here's our dynamic, and here's how we communicate, and here's how we fight. And her parents, we wound up talking for another hour.
Oh,
wow,
that's great.
That sounds like really
it's a
healthy.
very positive in-law story. You're
Yeah.
moving into a good family, buddy. Congrats.
Her parents are awesome.
Yeah.
For a while, their condo was being renovated in Arizona, and Nicole has a condo in Arizona as well, and we split our time between California and there. And so for a while, we were just staying in Arizona because that's where Nicole's work needed to be at that moment. And her parents lived with us. So for a matter of
wow.
I think it was 2 months, we lived with her parents. So every morning I would get up and have coffee. Her dad would make me coffee and breakfast, and we would chat out on the patio. And so it was there's no, when you're with your in-laws, you're like, I don't know if I can be myself. I had to be myself because otherwise I couldn't exist.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel
If anything, you started to get too comfortable.
Yeah.
Pete, put some clothes on.
Yeah.
I would love you to not walk around in your underwear. Well, you're in my home right now.
What are you doing? Speaking of that, Nicole, she's always on Zoom meetings because she's a real job, and I just walk around in my underwear all the time. And I walked into the background of one of her Zoom meetings in my underwear, and it was this really tense conversation where she was talking to a vendor about something that had been messed up, and then all of a sudden, I can hear through her headphones the laughter, and that's what made me turn. And then I kind of look at the screen like that, and then I turn and I go back into the bedroom. And then I walk back out like it had never happened with shorts and a T-shirt on. And then they're still laughing. And then Nicole's roasting me. Well, all her meetings are recorded by this thing called Gong, where it records Zoom meetings for companies, and then it transcribes it so they can just hit keywords and see what. And so she went back and got
Tremendous
the Gong recording. Yeah. And I actually put it on my Instagram.
There you
so
go.
if people go on my Instagram, they can see me.
I love that you changed to be like, no, that's what you saw the first time. I
You're
was
just
wearing clothes this whole time.
Yeah. If I really wanted to be a badass, I should have just gotten closer to the camera.
Yeah. Hey,
But like,
how's it going, guys?
yeah, I'm kind of itching a pet. Are you in a meeting?
Well, I'm really happy that all the pressure of the questions from our friends and family of like, when are you going to get married, are done. And now they can switch to, when are you going to have kids?
When are you going to have kids?
Hey.
Which is funny because I'm 45 and I haven't ever had a kid, I think. And I'm like really ready to have kids. And so normally I think when you get married, especially the guy, they go like, when are you going to have kids? And the guy goes, oh.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm going to be an old dad. I'm going to be like a really old dad, by the time graduation hits. And Nicole really wants to have children. She's 33. She's like, I want to have a healthy pregnancy and whatnot. And so we kind of want to get married as soon as we can, and
Right.
we want to start having kids. And so it's funny, people at parties will be like, so when are you going to have kids? And they think that they're like putting the pressure on
Yeah.
us.
Like you've never asked each other that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I am so ready for this question. Like, debate team, I'm stepping up.
You like pull out her ovulation calendar. We're hoping.
We're hoping.
We're
it's gonna
hoping
be-
Thursday. We're hoping we can plant the seed soon.
Yeah, that's the weird thing, because we don't want her to get pregnant before we get married. But I have to admit that like now every time we have sex, I'm like, so let's do it. Like, I actually kind of try to talk her into it each time, and she's like, no. She's like, we need to do the thing.
She's like, I want to fit in my dress. And
Yeah. How did you feel when
Such so funny to me that you can be in the height of passion, be like, let's have a baby. You're like,
Let's do it.
That's the most irrational you ever are
It
as
really
a
is.
human. To be like, yeah, let's make something
make
that'll
a
impact
big
our life.
decision.
Yeah.
Let's make a decision right now that'll impact our lives more than anything we've ever done.
because it feels good.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, we want to have a baby eventually. Why not now?
Because it's going to feel so good for one of us immediately. And then not good for you for a long time.
Are you ready for a bad 10 months?
Yeah.
Buckle up. Yeah.
Yeah, that when you first found out, like when you both first found out that you were pregnant with your first child,
Yeah.
was it crazy emotional? Like, were you like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
yeah, that has to be like such a spectrum of emotions. Do you cry
And then
together?
the hormones too.
Oh, and the hormones.
Yeah.
That's the thing. She's also
the
pregnant at that
pregnancy
point,
hormones,
which means
yeah.
everything's changing.
The like, did you guys watch Yellowstone?
No.
We haven't.
Okay,
I'm
so
sorry.
there's this
Because we have. If you like watching Yellowstone, don't have kids.
don't have kids. Yeah. Don't have kids.
If you like watching any show other than Bluey or Paw Patrol or
Couple TikToks.
or
Mallrats.
we can do 22 to 29 minutes of entertainment a night. If that's enough for you, then have children. But if that's not enough for you, then don't have children.
Yeah, I think I can handle it. By the way, can I promote something that has to? I'm the lead on a children's cartoon. It's called Jam Band.
sweet.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's produced by Bill Sherman, who co-created Hamilton and whatnot.
You said jam?
Jam Van.
Jam Van.
Jam Van.
Awesome.
So our first episode is Lin-Manuel Miranda. I'm a huge Hamilton person. He was in the first episode. So I got on this thing because Wayne Brady was the lead in it, and then he had to go do something else, so he quit.
So, like, who's the most like Wayne Brady in entertainment?
Pete Lee.
Pete Lee.
Yeah. Pete Lee is the most Wayne Brady. And so I had to audition over 4th of July weekend to fill in Wayne Brady's shoes. And then
Dance shoes. His
his
shoes.
dance shoes. And then I wound up getting it, and the next thing I know, I'm filming the first
Incredible.
time in studio. I had to sing a duet with Lin-Manuel Miranda, which like I said, I'm the
Wow.
hugest Hamilton fan, and that was the first in character I had to sing with him. And so this is my voice right now, and then Lamb's voice is like, "Oh, hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah.
I'm Lamb, bada bing." And
It's good.
and so I had to
Amazing.
figure out how to sing in that voice
Yeah.
with one of my heroes. But if people wanted to, literally, it's free. It's on YouTube. They wanted
Yeah.
it to be able to reach as many people as
Great.
possible and not
Jam
have a
Van.
paywall. So
on the YouTube. I bet it'll be in the description link.
yeah, every episode, it's me and Nicole Byer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so-
Love her.
So it's Gator. She plays Gator named Annie, and then I'm Lamb. So it's a lamb and a gator that are best friends. They ride around in the jam van. Mark Maron is Grumpy GPS.
Yeah, that
so
checks out.
We're like, Grumpy GPS. Where should we go? And he's like, I don't know. I haven't had my coffee. And then we go to a city, and then we poke around in the city, and then I always want to see the sights. Annie always wants food, and so like we usually we come up with some sort of thing that's happening with us emotionally that we don't know how to deal with. And then, oh my God, we bump into this big famous musician and they help us with our emotions. And then there's a song. And that's every single episode. So
wow.
and it's also really funny. So if parents, it's something that parents can watch. It's something that the kids will love. And
there we go.
And it's got music. So.
Hey, this is the right podcast to promote that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Before
Sounds
we do a
amazing.
couple Patreon questions, anything else you want to promote, my friend? You got some tour dates or something? You
Yeah.
want me to,
all my tour dates are on petely.net. I don't know when this is going to come out.
probably April-ish.
April-ish.
Mm-hmm.
I have a really new great problem in that my last 9 weeks on the road have sold out, and then the next
buddy.
2 weeks are already sold out. And so like I actually have people reaching out being like, I'm mad at you because I can't get tickets. And so it used to be that I go on podcasts and I beg people to get tickets, and now I'm like, please get your tickets if you like me, because I don't want you to be mad at me.
That's awesome.
So-
Like, they
love
sold
that.
out already.
So go to petely.net, follow me on Instagram at Petley, follow me on TikTok at Petley. If you're on Twitter, I don't care. It's not political. I've never done well on that app, and I'm bitter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I understand.
I don't have it either.
It's a tough
Yeah.
one to get seen on, but I still I find myself at least enjoying like the news on Twitter, but the highs and lows of TikTok are just like it's like a drug. It's you're like and then it's just the rejection. Anyways, I complain about TikTok to Melissa all the time. So
I'm on like a 12 video streak that I haven't been over 10K views on it.
dude, the same thing happened to me recently, and then I read someone says like actually TikTok wants longer stuff right now. They want it like 90 seconds.
Oh, really?
And I posted a 90-second clip. 2.4 million views. You're like, I hate this. And when I do well on there, I almost get mad at it. Because you're like, this was not that much better than the other thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah.
was a good bit, but not that much better.
All right, I'm going to start doing more long form.
By the time this comes out, the algorithm will have changed.
That's true.
All right, so we have a couple questions for Pete Lee here from our patrons. If you guys aren't familiar with Patreon, it's just a way to give a little more to the pod and get a little more from the pod. And one of those things means you can ask guest questions. So for Pete, this is from Adam Bush. I read you were the first comedian to get a standing ovation at The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Is that true? And did that moment teach you anything?
That is true. Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
I knew you were going to like one. That's a nice setup.
All right.
That moment taught me a lot of things. The thing that sprung to my mind first is, so when everybody stood up at the end of my set, I thought there was a sign above me, like a TV, like an
Stand up.
applause sign that said "Stand Up," and so I was like, "Wow, this is really, really cool." And then Jimmy came over and he's like, "Oh my God, you're getting a standing ovation. This has never happened on the show before." And I was like, "Yeah, Jimmy, there's a sign,
Yeah.
like, that's what I was thinking in my head. Like, all right, I'm gonna play along with this, and then." He he started talking to me. He's like, "This is crazy." He's like, "Dude," he's like, "I'm not going to let you not experience this moment right now."
Oh.
And so it started sinking that it was real. And then I was like almost like the engagement story. I don't want everybody to think I'm a crybaby, but I was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to cry." And so I said that to him. I go, "I'm going to cry, Jimmy." And he's like, "Let it out." And the crowd can hear me and they're like, "Cry." And so I never wound up crying, but it was so overwhelming. And so I guess the thing that I learned from it is that you can go from thinking that something doesn't mean anything to that something means everything
Oh.
in just a tiny little moment.
That's really, really good.
And since then, I've been back. I've done the show 6 more times since then, not gotten a standing ovation. So I know that there's not a sign.
Expectations. That's this is another comedy question. What is the worst piece of advice you ever followed as a young comic? So not good advice. You get the good advice. What's like a good piece of advice? What's the worst piece of advice you ever got as a younger comic that you followed?
Oh, I'm trying to think. So I won't say this person's name, but there was a guy that used to be a pretty influential person, and he booked a lot of TV shows, and then he also booked another big thing. And he personally had a preference that if you go up on a showcase where you're auditioning for things, you shouldn't, and this goes back to Nicole's point, you shouldn't be like, keep it going for those guys, like, oh my God, New York, it's so great to be here. He was like, don't do that, just get into your stuff. And I think it's always good to just get the crowd to clap, and then there's a little bit of momentum.
Yes.
And I followed his rule for so long, and I would actually go up after other comics just on regular shows, and I wanted to get used to that feeling of just having to start cold.
Yeah.
But the audience would just go, "What happened? That's felt bad."
terrible advice.
And
get right into it.
get right into it, and it just sounds like a monologue. It doesn't sound like a conversation. Because it's supposed to be a conversation. Not a speech. And so I think I took that to heart, and I think I've probably spent years just not going up and saying something fun. There's another comic that. Maybe it was Carlin that said, like, if you're wasting your opening line, you're actually like wasting an opportunity, and like your opening line should be like just so precise that.
I think it was Steve Martin. I think I heard him say something about that. Yeah, like just get right to a funny line right away.
Yeah,
right?
And I think he said it in his whatever that Instagram clip of his
the masterclass thing, right? Yeah,
thing was, and. I remember hearing that and going, God, I disagree with that so much.
Right.
I think you kind of got to go up no matter what occasion it is and just go, hey, and just let them look at your face and get used to you before you start presenting this deep idea. And everyone, I mean, we've all had that one opening joke that where it's so easy to get out of your mouth, and it's so casual, and it says everything about you.
Yeah.
And those are wonderful, but you hardly ever write another one of those. Or if you did,
guilty. Guilty.
You've used it on TV, or you've used it too much on your Instagram, and now you got to just go up and say, hey. And that's also one of the ways that you find that next line that feels so natural, is that you just say it.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a part of the creative process to go up loose and not just be.
I like that.
So rigid.
I think that it's not a coincidence that there's older school guys saying that too, where like TV appearances and it was all much more of a presentation, and a lot of the biggest stand-ups now, it's much more connection, conversational,
more casual.
Bring in like the more scripted, you almost want everything you were doing, you want it to come across as non-scripted, as much as you can. So like, be in the room. Just, they gave you a thing and clapping for you. Give them something back. Acknowledge the thing. Hello, how are anything?
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Acknowledge it. And there are, our bits, we do craft them, and they are scripted, but we're trying to make them sound as least scripted as possible.
Yeah.
So unless the beginning is so wonderful that you can just drop that bomb, you gotta be casual. I feel like.
I like that. Last question. Here we go. This is from Eugene Rice, and this is for both of us, and then we'll get you out of here. For Pete and Dustin, please discuss mustaches, please and thank you. And then there was a follow up to that from Bonnie, who said, Taylor, who's not going to be here for this, but Mel, we want your opinion on this topic as well. Pete has gone mustache, no mustache, face, clean shave. You've done every look there is.
In the last couple of months, I've done. Yeah, and by the way, I love your stash.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Love that stash.
Thank you.
I wake up every day and I miss my mustache.
Yeah.
I really do. And Nicole loved it. There was a point where I think it was New Year's Day. I had gone on stage and I just wore this shirt. I'd wore this sparkly shirt that I wore when we went to the Harry Styles concert. It was like literally a piece, like a costume piece that I wore. And then this guy in the crowd wound up having a cowboy hat. I wound up wearing the cowboy hat. I'm pretty hammered on stage. I almost feel ashamed that when I'm pretty hammered on stage, I'm even funnier than I normally am. So it's like I don't even do, I actually do better, and I don't encourage young comics to get hammered on stage, but so I was just like a tornado on stage that night. And the next day Nicole was like, so do you think it's maybe time to shave the mustache, because I think it's taking on a life of its own?
You became a mustache personality.
Yeah.
That's different than having a mustache.
Yeah.
You became a mustache guy.
I became a mustache guy, and I remember on Kids in the Hall there was this sketch that they did called "Girl Drink Drunk," and he grows a vacation beard,
Yeah.
and then he's making girl like lady daiquiris, and he's a. They called it "Girl Drink Drunk," and at one point the wife goes, maybe you should shave the beard, and he goes, no, the beard stays. You go. And I actually had a moment where I was like, no, the mustache stays. You go. On New Year's Day. And but no, I was gonna. My plan was to shave the mustache off on New Year's Day and start the year clean. And I actually had such a problem getting rid of it that I didn't shave it until I think it was February 1st.
Okay.
I had to go to court to testify against my stalker. And my lawyer actually called me up. My lawyer called me up and he said, he goes, hey, what's your mustache plan for court? And I go, well, I'm going to keep it. And he goes, you can't look creepier than your stalker. He's like, you have to shave your mustache.
What?
And so I shaved the mustache.
What's your mustache plan? AKA get rid of it.
Get rid of the mustache.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So I shaved the mustache to go to court, and then Nicole was like, I think this is good. Let's do this for a while.
That is so funny. That's that you got rid of your mustache because of legal counsel.
Legal counsel told me, hey, man, I think I don't. And the crappy part was that we went to court, and then the creep asked for a continuance and then got it. So then I had to go back a week later, and so I could have waited a week to shave my mustache.
Yeah.
And so I could. My mustache, by the way, and Nicole's not wrong. So I started calling my mustache Gary, and I made jokes about it where I'm like, Pete's a really polite guy, but like Gary's a son of a bitch, and people would.
You were like Two-Face.
It was becoming its own. So she's not wrong, but like
I don't know who I got engaged to.
Yeah, exactly.
Gary or Pete.
But like I'd be on stage and then people would be like, Gary, and they started just yelling Gary.
Oh, that's so funny.
So I don't know, but I don't even remember what the question was.
Yeah, it was to discuss mustaches.
How do you feel about the mustache, and how do you feel, Mel?
So Dustin was in Portland. It was like pandemic, and he had grown out a beard and everything. And then he went to Portland with Taylor, was doing
for a week.
Bunch of
we
shows.
were in Portland for a week. I had a beard at the time.
And he FaceTimed me like, hey, what do you think? And we were just like laughing, and then we were like, well, just keep it for
I actually think I sent you a picture in a robe by a fire.
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted you to see it in its full force.
And we were just laughing, and I was like, I don't know, I think it works, right? And, that was a while ago, like a year and a half.
It's a bit of an homage to my dad. My dad had a mustache my entire youth, and also I don't have eyebrows, like barely, and so I wear thick glass.
You do. They're just white.
I don't.
Yellow, not white.
It's
They're
just
not white.
something that makes it easier to remember your face.
Yeah.
And we're in a very vain industry, at a very the mustache glasses guy. I posted a marriage
dark
bit.
feature.
I think that this proves my point. When you go on TikTok and you're watching a video, and up in the little search bar, it'll tell you how people found that. So it'll be like funny stand-up comedy, or when it really hurts, it'll be like you'll log on and it'll be your video, and it'll say Matt Rife, and you're like, what? That's a more successful comedian. You put me next to the biggest comedian on TikTok. But on this marriage bit that's doing pretty well, it says in the subject, it's a minute and a half of marriage jokes, and the subject says funny cop humor.
Funny cop humor.
And I was like, this has nothing to do with cops at all, but I just look like a cop.
You look like a cop.
I look like a, that's what you were talking about, the built-in lines. Like I did that. Mine was like, some kids grow up, they want to look like Batman. I look like a kid who grew on to be Commissioner Gordon. And but that's not in that set. They just go, so it stayed in large part because it's like, it just makes you more memorable.
Oh my, Commissioner Gordon's so funny.
It's a silly. And
that's so funny.
I feel like I wasted it on TV. But I also open for a very successful comic a lot who their crowds don't know who I am, so I can use that thing forever, baby.
Oh, I love it.
So
I love it.
All right, you got shows to get to, buddy. Thank you for coming in.
I have to get to La Jolla.
Yeah, appreciate you coming in. Sorry sorry it's raining here in San Diego, but hopefully it'll be nice for the rest of the weekend.
It'll be. This is already great. It feels sunny in here. There's plants.
That's
Good,
true. It is
good.
nice in here. So, all right. Thanks for doing this, buddy.
Thank you guys. Thanks for
Bye.
having me.
Bye.
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 Hey, thanks for listening, everyone. We want to give a special shout out to our as Essential as Oils patrons. That's our $25 a month and up patrons. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to Adam Bush,
Averill Griffiths.
Bonnie Galindo,
Carrie T.
Code to Grow,
Courtney Eibling.
Demarius Diaz-Stevens,
Dave and Melissa Cox.
Dave Hoagland,
Farrah Journey.
Isaac Teron,
Jennifer Ashley Downs.
Jessica Sewell,
Jordan Cowan.
Juliana Smith,
Lori Amos.
Nathan and Jennifer Merritt,
Nicole Caros.
Rachel Wilson,
Rachel Kennedy.
Robert and Nellie Capin,
Tiffany Payne.
Trey Turner, and
Jason
Jason
White.
White. Jason, you got both of us on that last one. Thank you guys so much for your support. It means the world to us.
Thank you.